Welcome to the Laredo Convention and Visitors Bureau meeting. Today is November the 4th at approximately 8:43. Thank you all for coming. We begin by taking roll call. Raymond Camina.
Present.
Gabriel Castillo.
Here.
Elizabeth Flores. She did ask for an excused absence today, so when that time comes, Elizabeth Flores asked for an excused absence. She had a doctor's appointment today. Maribel Garcia.
Here.
Judith Gutierrez. Omar Minjas. Salo Otero. Maritza Ramirez. Present. Magali Rodriguez.
Present.
Madam Chair, Ms. Gutierrez informed us she was running late, so.
Ms. Gutierrez is
Ms.
running
Gutierrez,
late.
yes.
Dropping off her grandchildren.
Yes.
Do we have a motion to excuse Ms. Elizabeth Flores for her doctor's appointment today? We have a
Yes.
motion?
Whatever motion.
Second by Mr. Camina. Motion carries.
I just wanted to comment, Salo, Mr. Otero texted me this morning saying, I'm gonna be unable to make it. Even though he did request an excuse, he
We'll
did advise in
also-
advance, so I just wanted to bring it to the table in case you all want to move to excuse him.
Yes, we'll also include Mr. Salo Otero. Do we have a motion to excuse Mr. Otero as well?
I motion.
I second.
Motion carries. Mr. Otero as well. We then do our pledge of allegiance. I want to make note that Judy Gutierrez is present.
Sorry for the delay, I'm running late. No digas nada, Gabriel. I saw that.
Since you're standing, you can lead us with a pledge of allegiance.
All right, I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we have a moment of silence. Okay, then we go ahead and continue with our meeting. I apologize for doing a roll call first, but we already did that, so I
Yeah.
know it's on the fourth item on the agenda. I'm sorry about that, I apologize. Going over the minutes from the October 7th, 2021 meeting. Do we have a motion
I move
to,
that we approve the minutes for the, what date was it?
for the October 7th?
For the October 7th meeting.
Second.
Motion carries. Do we have any public or citizen comments to bring to our meeting today?
Not at this time, Madam Chair.
Then we go to the reviewing of the financial statement, which is on page 4B.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair. Our financials, we just started our new fiscal year, so we're starting pretty fresh. We're starting to start encumbering all the money that was allocated for the new projects, the new advertising, everything that we have. So we're starting now to get all those contracts and get those purchase orders, so we could start with the new fiscal year. And you can see on page 5 and 6 is the occupancy tax collections. We did really good on page 5. You can see on the collections, we collected more than what we projected. So I think that's the thing we did. We did a good job. And then on page 6, you'll see the new one that is going to be reflecting. We still receive a percentage of the October one. So yeah, so you can see this one's are a month behind, so it's not the actual month, but we're hoping that this year with the community, how it's doing, the hotels, and now that the bridges are gonna open up next Monday, we're hoping to see at least for the first 2 months a lot of traffic from Mexico. I think people are eager to travel, And so we're really excited, so we're hoping that it's gonna really boom the downtown area, the mall area, the outlets, all the stores that we have, you know, so we're restaurants too, all that's gonna.
Have you all researched on that, on what the requirements have they? I know we keep asking for them, but I wasn't sure if you all have received anything like the actual, you know, requirements from the Homeland Security or CDC
I
or anything.
think we got some, and we can probably share it with you later. I don't have it with me, but I know that they needed to have, there's like 3 or 4 vaccines, which is the Pfizer, the Moderna, the Johnson & Johnson, and then there's a 4th one that it's, and I don't know the name of it, but it's the European one. I think the only ones that they're not allowing is the one from like the Russia, because I think Russia ended up sending a lot of vaccines to Mexico. So that's the only one that's prohibited.
Chinese.
And the
Yeah,
Chinese.
the Chinese one.
Yeah, there's
Russia
2.
and the China.
The Russian and the Chinese, but the Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Moderna, and then there's another one, but that's the European one. Those are the 4 that are allowed, so you need to come in with your card. The only thing that I don't know if they need to come and show a negative test 72 hours as well, or just with the vaccine. Because I know when you fly in, you're required to take a 72-hour test before getting to the United States. Well, I don't know if they're doing the same thing as a pedestrian or a vehicular, if you're coming as a tourist, because now you're going to be able to come as a tourist. But we could, I think Raymond had gotten that information, so we'll make sure to share it with you guys, with everybody.
And then my other question is on the visas. I know that there was also an issue over people whose visas had expired because they couldn't come to the country. Do you know anything about that, how they're working that out?
No, I know that there's a lot of people that were affected. What I don't know if, I think that process is going to take longer because that's on the government that allowing them now to reapply and do all the processes.
I hear they're taking up to 3 months.
Yeah.
From the time that you submit your visa.
Okay, so there's no such thing as a waiver or anything, right, or an exception?
No.
Not doing, okay.
As of right now.
We have heard that and I thought, that sounds too nice.
Yeah, no, we haven't heard that. But whatever we have, we'll make sure to share with you guys.
And some of my suppliers, the offices were shut down for 2-3 months and their visa expired. Now they're going to be put at the end of the list. So it's going to be, because over there, they want you to renew it like a month before,
Yeah.
because they're closed.
Yeah.
They couldn't do it
Yeah,
online.
you're right.
So it's going to be real
Yeah.
messy for a while.
Unfortunately, that's the deal, is that we're hoping that there's a large influx, but the reality is, all of these people don't have it.
And then the offices, supposedly in Mexico, they're short-staffed. Not everybody returned, or they want everybody spread out.
Yeah,
So it's going to take longer.
it's gonna, yeah.
Also, like, Nuevo Laredo, for example, the first 20,000 people that received the vaccine was the Chinese vaccine.
So they're not accepting that one.
That's a big chunk of people. If you have all teachers receive the Chinese vaccine, you have to, it's not gonna be.
That's what that was my point here, was the fact that while we're hoping that there's a huge influx, which we do hope, the reality is there's still limitations, you know, so
Yeah.
therefore we're gonna have those, like you all say, those issues.
So how's that gonna work? Are they gonna have to present their? Yeah, that's gonna be a.
How do they validate it? How do they?
That's another problem. That's another problem. And Mexico, their system, their system is very messed up. They have like a database that where you can get their QR and all that, and a lot of people are having vaccinated and having issues of getting their vaccine record. So it's just.
Yeah,
They're not like that, they give it to you right there when you get
Is
your.
it like Best Buy?
Yeah,
Christmas or
I've heard that there's gonna be some clinics of vaccinations across and all that. Hopefully, they consider providing vaccines to those that got the first.
Yeah.
But don't they have to wait?
It's already, they got it like a long time ago,
Okay.
so they're already after the 6 months. So they're talking about.
Well, some of us already got our boosters and over there they haven't even.
Yeah, they're still not doing boosters.
Another thing that we've heard people asking is about those that crossed and got the vaccine here.
Mhm.
Are they gonna have issues at the bridge? Do we know how many people from Monterrey came,
Mhm.
got the vaccine
Well, also the
here?
people that flew like from
From
Mexico
Mexico
City
City,
to Lorena
Yes.
just for that, for the
But
vaccine.
yes, there's a
So
lot
as
of
long,
people that
as long
came.
as they have the card, it's not an issue, because that's really the most important. And now even what Mr. Richard Chamberlain told us from the health director, he mentioned that anybody that here in the US, either US citizen, anybody that has gotten the vaccines, they're automatically already registered through the state. So even if you lost your card, they could reissue, before it was a big deal, like, oh, they can't issue your card, and now you can because it's all registered through your driver license, whatever identification you show.
So they can just verify.
Yeah. So Raymond Camina, they could find, okay, you took Pfizer, blah, these are the dates, now you want the booster, which one do you want, Moderna or Pfizer or whatever. So we even had this group that we
So that's
posted.
already in our, in
It's
the
already there.
system, like
Yeah.
with the state.
With state, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow, that's very
Yeah.
good.
Well, I just wondered.
In case you lose your little card.
Yeah, so they could reissue it
I
if you
carry
want.
it, but you know, I guard it more than I do.
I even took a picture.
What I did, I took a
Oh, yeah, that's
picture. I took a picture and then, for conferences, they're asking you for the card, and sometimes I don't wanna travel with it because I don't wanna lose it, but here's the picture.
Yeah, they
Yes.
accept that.
And they accept that, or
I
sometimes
was-
you
I
go
was-
online.
I was in New York last week and they ask for it everywhere you go. You don't go into a restaurant and you don't
Or
show
even on the restaurant.
everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Oh.
closed
Los
spaces.
Angeles,
Wow.
I think, where
There was a
it's coming down.
Fox News reporter, anchor, who actually showed only his, not his card, he showed it on his phone, because he had just, he had it on his phone. They wouldn't accept that.
They
And
wouldn't
then for his
accept it.
ID, to
Yes.
prove, so he was, for double insulted that they didn't recognize it.
Yeah.
But he walked out of the restaurant because he was mad that,
They actually want to see your
they asked you for your ID
and your vaccination card.
Oh, wow, in New York.
in restaurant.
Oh,
Yeah.
that,
They want
that,
it-
Everywhere that's
Actually,
closed.
Broadway shows, everything you go
Everywhere,
into.
museum.
Really, so you have to carry both.
You have to carry both. They will accept it on the phone in a lot of places, but they want to see your ID and they want to verify it.
Yeah.
And
But
then
the
they-
ID makes sense, you know, you look at the
Yes.
name and you, the
Yeah.
ID or pass card.
And they take their time. It's not like
No.
they
They don't
check.
have to
Like,
you know.
Oh,
I get it, they
wow.
just don't, you know.
yeah.
like that's your ID, right?
Yeah, they check and they
Like
they
a little
actually
girl to
read
check
it. You're used to like people, show me your ID. It's okay. No, they actually.
Nobody asks for mine.
Laredo style.
So, it's interesting.
It is very interesting.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions on the financials? You know, thank you for all the information. I know y'all are really keeping the history for us, so we can see
Yeah, yeah,
the
you're
progress and everything like that.
I'm glad to see that, even though we have a lot of government and occupying hotels.
We're still collecting.
We're still collecting, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
assume
think
it's
some of the,
because of the prices that the rates are,
Yes.
the demand is
Yeah.
driving the
Yeah.
rates, so hopefully,
but we have a lot of military.
oh yes.
Military, yeah.
Price
A
overwhelming.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so-
A lot.
Yeah.
They don't pay the sales, they don't pay the,
They don't pay the.
They don't pay.
No
Yeah,
tax.
but that's
Or
why
the
it's really good
taxes.
news that we have.
Yeah, then.
But it helps out
Until they
too.
stay more than 30
But
days.
it does help the hotels definitely.
Yeah,
For the
it-
occupancy
yeah.
and everything.
And I think in general,
Well,
it
the
helps the city.
restaurants and all
The
that.
restaurants, gas stations,
Yes.
stores.
My dad's help.
So it's a balance that we kind of have to.
I know, I can't get into long form on Saturday. Was it during a game? No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on with the October activity reports. We begin with the director's report, which Eileen is out today, so Joanne will be.
Yes, Madam Chair, Eileen's report is in page 7 and 8. And this month she got to travel to Round Rock for the Texas Connect Texas, which is a state, that's a state organization that organizes meeting planners, so she was able to meet with their meeting planner, so it was interesting, you know, she hadn't done sales in a while, and so we're a small team but mighty, and so we all take little pieces, and so I know that it went well. She got to see some of the peers, and there's so many changes within the state. A lot of CBBs have gotten new staff, but no, she said that it was really good, and it was very successful. And then the other thing that I know, Selena might mention it, but it was the Momentum Day that we want to thank you, those that were able to participate with Zimmerman. We had a sessions here on Monday the 18th, October the 18th, and I think all the people that showed up, it was very positive, all the feedback that we got from our partners, you know, from the private sector, from the city, from our committee members. I think it was really good. So right now, they're working on all the strategies and everything, and presenting something to us, and eventually we'll present it to you guys. So we're really excited for that. I want to thank for those that were able to participate, and thank you for that. So those are the two things that I kind of wanted to highlight in her report. I'm not sure if you have any questions.
Yeah, on the public arts master plan, what exactly is that? And what's the final, like,
So
objective?
We're working with, right now, the library is looking at all the murals and everything. So the idea is we're gonna transition from the library to us. So that's gonna be a division.
Like the way we have the LCDB advisory committee,
Mhm.
there's going to be a public arts master plan
Yeah.
advisory,
Yeah.
and it's going to still fall under CDB.
Yeah, so we're changing anything from the library, and so we're adding that scope of work, and now the thing with that is trying to get where we could get funds and do more artwork, public artwork, and either public buildings or private, the way with all those murals are coming up. I think that's a big thing. Every city that you go to, you see murals everywhere.
Yes.
And it's a piece of art, people like it, they take pictures, so
And where does that funding come from?
the funding, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure they have third-party funding, that's a good question. I haven't been really involved. The one that has been,
Eileen is
Maria
here.
Solis and Eileen have been the ones kind of like steering it. Right now, they're trying to do the transition between library and CDB, and then obviously all that has to be approved by city council. And so they're trying to present to city council as well, the plan, actually, what are the things they're gonna do. But they have a committee, and most of them are artists, and they've done work here in Laredo, and their love for art and everything.
We're
So-
trying to build up a better big database, between, the other partners that we have within the city with UISD, LASD, TAMU, local artists, the charitable trusts, because I know funding can be coming in through the city, but I believe that Maria was also trying to get
Nice
funding
scholarships.
from different organizations outside of the city, like grants.
Yeah,
To go ahead and just promote public arts
Yeah.
and, tie that into tourism, which is why, it seemed like a better fit to fall under the CBD's department. So we'll go ahead and keep you all updated on that, but, the plan is to bring that group over under convention and.
So like you mentioned, charitable organizations, but it's not gonna be a 501c3 or a C490?
No.
It's still part of the
It's
city?
just city.
still part of the city,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay,
that's
so it's not
correct.
like a separate foundation? or
No, it's
No.
not, it's not.
It's just another committee.
Like, we'll probably, like Rosie is part of the committee.
Mhm.
Right.
She
Yeah.
sits in that committee. So, because I think I went to one of the meetings, but I was just there in the between while Eileen was getting from one
Yeah,
meeting to
Rosie,
another.
Mr. Mendez.
Yeah,
Right, she told me that there were like 3 people, and
Yeah.
Viviana Frank also told me about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because they were interviewed, supposedly these consultants interviewed several people
Mhm.
involved
Yeah.
in several
Yeah, yeah.
things.
Yeah, and I think they
That's
even
what-
came back for a site visit as well, to see what's existing and what can be utilized for future growth.
yeah.
Because I really was kind of surprised, there was I'm not gonna get into details, but there was a show done it was all on the border, and they really focused on the murals of El Paso, and they were really cool. I mean, and now I see why they did that instead of ours, but they were really outstanding, and I think it was at a totally different caliber. Of course, that has a lot of cooperation from the community, because there's some very strong arts organizations
Mhm.
within El Paso.
Yeah.
But you're right, it's funny because if you look at the show, it was that Patti Hinich
Uh-huh.
show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And the one she focused on El Paso puts a lot of emphasis on the arts.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and there is a method to the madness when it comes to public art displays like that, we want to tell the story. We want, there to be some background behind the artists that are selected for murals, it's one thing to have like, oh, it's a pretty flower and it's a beautiful tree, but let's make a story out of it.
Yeah,
And, bringing that in, tying it into our office, and, in the future, we want to go ahead and add on a self-guided mural tour.
yeah.
So that can be an added amenity that we can have available for the public. So, I mean, it's a good thing, like you mentioned, like there's other cities, New York, Houston, Dallas, that just have, whether it's graffiti parks or, public displays. And I think that's something that people are now gravitating towards
Yeah.
because it's in the open air, you can do it on your own. And it's just, it feels safer
I
as
think
well.
that's a good thing to be able to just start, once
Yeah.
you get started,
Yeah.
then more,
Yeah, more people get involved.
It would
Yes.
also be a great idea to find a way to incorporate the youth, high schoolers,
Yeah,
Yeah, we go through their art departments, through their art instructors with the magnet school, and their ideas are taken into consideration.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the other thing is that you have to make sure that it doesn't get politicized. I know when I was on the Fine Arts Commission, we sat through literally 3 days of going through artwork, there was some beautiful work. And then we had to put 3 because that was the budget.
yeah.
So we went through all this and it was very different. So, okay, we picked these 3 and this was the other. And then it goes to council and they said, well, let's just do all of them. It's like, we just spent 3 different meetings and going through all this to go down to one. And it's like, no, at the time, the councilman just decided, well, no, that's just, the other ones, yes, the other ones are good. I agree, that we're all good. But just why put us through all this? That's what I mean, you have citizens that are willing to help and are doing, but then you have all this, I'm not gonna say politically, but, it does, because now, all of a sudden, all your work is like all for naught, why put us through all that? And just tell us, we have the, we do have the money, well, we thought we didn't. And I felt bad even because some of these people were willing to do whatever it was that the budget was, and I knew, just in paint, you have to do special paints for the murals.
yeah.
It's like, and it's like, shoot, how are they gonna get, and I knew the guy, I thought, he's not gonna have enough money, but he's a great artist, and we're only gonna pay him 3,000 or whatever it was.
Are you gonna add in the IBC logo?
Well, we couldn't. We couldn't, trust me, I would've. But that's the other thing was that, was that it was so limited in budget that we really thought, God, they have to really do something. And they're gonna have to put in their own money. We figured that out when we were talking about it,
Yeah.
that these people were gonna lose money. But in the end, it was, their name out there, so it was gonna be, I guess it balances out. But we were going through all these different scenarios, and it was all for naught. Like I said, we had known that there was another 15,000, but we
We would have just picked all of them.
yeah. Anyway, just keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'm a stickler for you do have to have first and second, because that is the goal. You want to be first, you want to be the best, you want to be on top. If you don't have anything, if everybody's gonna get it, then you're gonna feel like, you know what, I'm not gonna compete because everybody's gonna get it.
Yeah.
So that gets a little more difficult.
Yeah,
And the irony here was that there must have been about maybe 15, but there was really hard. And there were some that were not local, because they were now like established artists somewhere else. And that was another debate, like,
and what do you want to do local?
Well,
it's
they're no
like,
longer Laredo.
yeah, it's like, okay, you wanna help your, people that are here, but they were here, they studied here, they're still part of Laredo, they're native Laredo, and so that you have to all, trust me, it gets very.
Yeah. What's a hard choice for you guys?
Is this the first time that CVB is getting involved with the library?
No,
You're just
we
starting?
work with them with the library and other events. So we've done with them like Navidad Fest. We've worked with parks, the library, so many different departments. But for the longest, I don't know how long the art commission has been, at least with the city, with the library, it's already been several years. So Solis got us involved really well, and obviously, like Serena mentioned, it makes sense for CVB to be really involved.
Is it
So-
easier to get funding, if it's
Well, I think that,
affiliated?
no, I think we'll still, because it would be the same process, because they're within city department, so, but looking, I think,
They're gonna look for the type of funding. that
funding,
we
yeah,
need for
yeah.
them.
So when do you plan to go to council?
They actually, they were gonna be presenting, right now, I don't think we still haven't done the study itself, but once we have that, that's gonna be presented to city council, and then they're gonna say, okay, this is what we have, and I know at one point, I mentioned, you know, with budgets, if we would allocate a person to do all the arts, everything with arts and culture, not just the arts, but the culture as well, like events and stuff like that, so that's in the future, so she has already a vision that what she's already looking into, what's gonna be coming in the future, in several years, so I
There's so
think.
much, there's so much culture in the
Yeah,
city
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
So-
and we miss, yeah.
Yeah, so everything with, so those are the things, but that's in the future, you know, but, you know, I think this is the initial start and then going up there, so.
Hopefully it stays on the table
Yeah.
and doesn't
Yes.
get
Yeah.
taken off.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good opportunity, I think, for all age groups, you
Yeah.
know, you have artists and young and, you know, everything.
Yeah.
Any other questions under the director's report for Joel? If not, moving on to the assistant director's report, Joel, which is
So-
on page 9.
Yes, Madam Chair, my report's on page 910. Wanted to highlight two things there on the first page. I was very fortunate that I attended the Texas Hill Country, the TEC conference, and I was actually, we had about 100 attendees, and I was actually one of the last speaker on the panelists, so I was good to be able to promote Laredo in front of meeting planners and other destinations as well, but it was overall a really good presentation. It was my first time like speaking in front of the group like that, and but it was fun.
Challenging, huh?
Challenging. I didn't know what to expect, but I think
The first thing you have to ask yourself when you're public speaking, when you're before a group,
yeah,
who's your audience?
yeah,
And that's who
Yeah.
you prepare.
and it was
Because if you
interesting
don't
because
know, then, you know, you could go off on a tangent.
yeah. And what's interesting was that part of the panelists was one, the Austin CVB, and myself, and then we had a third party that handles. It's kind of like a planner, so they handle from hotel reservations, meeting facilities, catering, decorations. They do everything of those. We kind of don't like to work with them because they charge more. But what was interesting was, one was a third-party agency, and then this Austin CBB, which is a huge CBB budget, a big city, obviously, and Laredo is smaller size, so we were able to, I was able to showcase, like, even though we're a smaller city, but we do a lot of stuff, and I was able to promote, not only Laredo, but in general. I said, sometimes, meeting planners look to go to a big city, and they think, oh my God, it's like, but the smaller cities have so many things to offer, the community, the hotels, the hospitality, so I was able to put in all of my friends that are from like Lubbock and Corpus Christi and Fredericksburg and all these smaller cities are like, after I finished, I was like, because it was really a point, it was a moment to really voice for those smaller destinations, medium to small destinations, because we're so used to the Fort Worth, the Dallas, the Houston, the Austin, the San Antonio, they have everything, and obviously it's really hard to compete, and that's what I was saying. But the city itself has so many things that we could offer, and I tell them, we do not only throw the red carpet, we do the purple, the green, the whole rainbow, so they're like, everybody started laughing. But we really, the community itself in Laredo, and that's what I was saying, and like every conference that we've hosted, once they drink our water, they come back. They're on a rotation, and they'll come back within a year or 2 years. So
That's why it's important to really work towards a convention center.
Mhm.
We don't have
We don't have one yet.
the capacity. I know that, when I was on the commissioner's court, the
Mhm.
state conferences, we could never host
Yeah,
one here.
yeah.
Never.
Well, as
Imagine
you-
254 counties, there's 5 elected officials in each county. We would never have been able to.
Isn't there a
So-
plan for North Laredo already?
Huh?
Well,
I think it's out there.
they're promoting the council has
Talking about
been,
it.
the mayor brought in an item and they're gonna do, I think, a workshop, and I'm not sure they're gonna hire another consultant. So there's been talks about it.
So it's gonna be north and not over here? I saw the presentation, I wasn't there, and I really just, I'm a glutton for punishment. I was watching the city council meeting,
Yeah.
and, there's a big push towards over here.
Yeah, they're talking about using the theater.
Also.
The Hollywood Theater, no, the Hollywood Theater.
Oh.
They're closed and building around there. So that's one of the theories that's gonna, but yeah, there is a workshop, so
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be open to public comment too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason, you know, I think we get a little tunnel vision because there's no reason why there can't be two conference centers. You know, to tell you the truth, that's what happens in San Antonio, in Austin. There's conference centers that are outside of Austin, outside of San Antonio, you know, and then, but they have to, those are literally just for conferences.
Yeah.
I think when you want to entertain people, you are gonna have to have something like downtown to
Yeah.
offer them, museums and things to do, art center, et cetera. So I don't think there's a reason why there can't be both, you
You
know.
have to
as a-
really be, you know, look at what's out there to be able to expand your vision, you know, and that's what it takes, you know, vision. I mean, some people, I mean, and I'm afraid to say this, you know, but, you know, they're, like you say, tunnel vision. And everybody's promoting, you know, their interest. Yeah, you know, their private interest, which is sometimes not fair for the community. But you need to be able to have input, you know, from a lot of organizations and people to be able to say, you know, like you're saying, Gabriel, you know, there's no reason why we can't have two.
Yeah, and I get it, I mean, it's business and I understand, you know, and it does get political because the businesses over there are contributing to the campaigns
Right,
politically, let's be
sponsorships
honest.
and so forth, yeah.
So,
Be honest, and you know,
forget-
that is the honest truth.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that we have to be able to expand our
Horizon.
horizon and look at other things and other cities, you know, what they're doing, because if not, we're never
I
gonna be
think we
able to.
also should keep in mind the capacity that we have and the resources and the infrastructure that we have and work around that.
Yeah.
Because if we get too ambitious and trying to accomplish so much,
They might not.
and then we also have to see the results of other conference centers or conference or convention centers
Good study.
for cities that are on the same level as Nuevo Laredo and see how successful they are. We don't want another big project that will just
Another different-
I
become,
think,
yes.
yeah, a lot of
That's
people-
the thing, so if we can get smart and build something, I haven't heard about the Hollywood theater,
Yeah, I haven't heard of that either.
but you know, when there's.
He's in the right
It's on the
place.
interstate.
We need to tell you more about that.
That's a
No, but
Trust me, I don't wanna know
Hollywood
anything.
Yeah, but
No, it's not.
using, you
That was a
know,
Regal.
Yeah.
or
That's,
you know, I always
yes,
thought,
Regal
why
was
not find a way to
Okay.
utilize the arena?
Gabriel.
You already have that parking area, you already have, like, you can
Yeah,
get very
we're already
creative.
paying for it, you know.
Or if
we're already
it's,
paying
if
for
it's
that.
something in a different location, then something maybe smaller that, you know, that, like Gabriel mentioned, have a conference center, not so much a convention
Exactly.
center.
Yeah.
Because we have to see what we can attract. And we're not gonna attract these huge events that are gonna,
Maybe 2 a year. You can't spend $10 million on something that you're gonna use 2 times a year. You're right.
especially making very, you know, huge changes that we cannot go back and say, oh, never mind, oops, we made a mistake. You
But-
can
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that, that's the.
Going to what
Also, you
you-
gotta have the rooms to back it up.
Yeah,
Exactly,
the
that's
thing.
another
So-
thing,
Yeah,
and
it's
especially
huge
right now,
conventions.
right
You
now.
can't get state conventions here,
No, but-
big ones.
But if you have a huge convention center, do you have the rooms to back it up?
Yeah.
No, that was the problem,
Yeah.
that there were not, at that, even at that time, 10 years ago, how many rooms did we have? Everything has been, you know, accelerated now, you know, you have more hotels, you know.
The
They're
main
all
ones-
over, they're in North Laredo, they're everywhere.
But it's just like right now, I don't know for how long we're gonna continue on this pace, but if you try and get rooms right now, you're gonna have a hard time to find rooms
Yeah.
anywhere in Laredo, Monday through Thursday.
At least, yeah, Monday through Thursday.
Well,
So
yeah.
that tells you how things are, so.
Yeah.
Well, what percentage of the rooms are being taken up by, you know, by the state, you know, for
Well,
the National Guard and all of that?
it's different hotels, different strategies, right, that how they handle it. I can just talk about what I know. What I know is that if you're smart, you won't take more than a 30%. So that's my vision. But I know about properties that are taking 80-90%
I think,
of their, so,
of their occupancy.
Yeah.
yes, it's a way of seeing it and a way of, looking
I
at
think-
the
I
way
think-
you plan your.
I think the location of the hotel has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
So as far as like you're saying, in your case, you do a
Yeah.
certain strategy, and then others do other strategies.
That's what she
And
said.
a lot of it has to do with
Mhm.
location.
Or depending how you were doing before this
Exactly.
boom, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're in a location where you know you're gonna sell, but you're in a location that you're always struggling to get,
Right.
So you want
heads
to get more.
then
All I know
of course
is that when you're in the military and you're
Yeah.
out in the elements, they have tents. That's part of the,
Well, there's a lot of rumors that this is not gonna last forever. There's a lot of rumors that with the new administration, budget is gonna change and we don't know what's gonna happen. So there's no commitment for 2022.
but this is from the state, and I know.
It's
And-
because
Different
you
state.
have a lot of, you have different agencies
Different visions,
Yeah.
different,
Yeah.
yes.
and it's not only military, you have National Guard, you have
Yeah.
Army, it's like,
There's so many branches,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's complicated, at least I don't understand, I
For-
still
for
don't get
us,
it, how it's gonna work.
For us, it's like Judy mentioned, when we go to these conferences and we try to have one-on-one appointments with planners, the biggest thing that they say is they want to be they want to be the
The
conference center with a hotel connected,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and have overflow hotels within a walking radius.
that's the way it is.
Because
That's the convenience
the
of.
convenience,
of-
right
Even in
now.
San Antonio,
Yes.
you go and, you have a
Yes.
conference, like I was in San Antonio this weekend, we had, and everything was held there.
Mhm.
And if the people didn't get a room there, they had adjoining hotels, they had
Yeah.
nearby hotels, and then, they
You
just
walk- then
walk
I did
across.
the
but
same thing.
you have other somehow successful and functioning convention centers that don't have that.
Mhm.
You also have to look at the size of the city,
Yeah.
and not
Oh,
every.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Mhm.
yes, we're comparing to these big cities that
Yeah.
can have the
And then so,
capacity,
like
and
you-
you will also have the flags that would like
Yeah.
to do it, because that's
Yeah.
another challenge.
Yeah.
You might wanna do whatever you want, and if you don't want the
Well,
flags
that
wanting
perfect example
to.
was the one in McAllen.
Yeah, oh my
McAllen,
God.
the city built the convention center, there was nothing built around it, they couldn't sell it.
Sales built around the
Until
convention center.
finally, 4 or 5, maybe even 6, 7 years after the convention center was built, it was in Red Line.
Mhm.
Hotels started opening up, shops, restaurants. Now they even have a fine arts center, they have so many
Yeah.
things around it. Now it's really nice, you go in that area, it's wow, it's really nice, but
Well, that was
But
very
after almost 10
short-sighted
years
in
of
planning,
losing
I mean, that
money.
was not good planning. that-
yeah, yeah,
I
it's a
mean, that's what we need to do, good planning.
exactly,
Exactly.
yeah.
Good luck.
If we have you in the committee, we'll have good planning. That'll do it.
But honestly, wherever, at this point,
Right.
just build something, plan on, if it's in North Dakota, that's fine, I can see that. But you need to have something for those conferences that you're inviting people to, because you're inviting them to come and it's like, okay, so you told me to come here and where?
Yeah.
Oh,
Where do I go?
well, we could put this together. And
You
if you
can go to them all.
if you get creative, you can actually provide a conference with using different buildings, using different meeting rooms, I know we've had conferences at at our ballroom for people that are staying over here at La Posada, and they just get a bus and then they bus them all and they're going to the main meeting and then they break out there and then, we try and help them out and they use the hotels that are in that area by Jacqueline. And, it kind of works out. It takes planning,
Yeah.
it takes some creativity, but it can
And
still be
it's more
done.
expensive, because transportation is really expensive.
That's where the issue comes in.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is
Gasoline is
for
very
the-
A bus for us is $1,200 for any
Yeah, but that's,
service that we
that's,
provide.
with good planning, you can acquire a fleet that it's, owned by the city and something
Yeah.
something like that, that you,
Yeah, well, just going back to your conference and your presentation, from the meeting planners, did they ask you something about Laredo that you said, well, we don't have that yet, or we don't, we're working on that? Because many times, if we don't have the things to offer, then they just kind of shut us off, you know, and not
Yeah.
consider.
And I did mention there that we didn't have a convention center, but I said we get really creative. We work with the university, we work with the college.
Okay.
We do have, like here in downtown area, we've used the center. Now that they're gonna remodel the Plaza Theater, I think they wanna use it as a multi-purpose facility as well. So there's a lot of stuff here in downtown that there's meeting space, but there's really the only hotel is La Posada, that has the big rooms, and then the closest one is, the Rialto is there, but they have very few rooms that they sell, but it's the Marriott and then Hotel Ava, it's going through a whole transition. And I think down there housing, all the people that are,
Oh, yeah,
got
all the
people-
migrants, yeah.
Yeah, all the migrants, so I don't think that hotel is really functioning as a hotel right now. So I mentioned all that, but obviously when we meet with planners, this third thing is they want a hotel with a convention center within. Like you just go.
It's connected to.
It's connected, and preferably if it's a big conference like a state or something like that, that there's overflow hotels that are within 2-3 blocks
To
a walk.
fill in there,
Yeah.
With
Makes
amenities
sense.
close
With
around.
amenities, yeah.
They'll ask like, well, where are
Restaurants,
like the
bars.
groceries or the restaurants?
Like
or
what size
retail?
of a conference, honestly, could we host like right now?
So right now, the ones that we have contracted and what, the first one is in February in La Posada, it's the SEAT, which is a code enforcement, it's their state convention. They're looking to bring about 200 people. So some of them do share rooms because they come from the same CBB, or the same, not CBB, the same city. But we already kind of maxed it out, we can't grow more than that. So the bigger ones that we've done, like the LEFRA, which is the retired firefighters, we've done it at town meeting, that's been 500. So we had to rent 4 buses. So we had to sponsor those 4 buses. Can you imagine $4,800 a day for 3 or 4 days? You're looking at $15,000.
That's an added expense.
And that expense, plus if we host a walk-in reception or a closing reception. So from the city side investment, you know, yeah, they got some fundraising to offset some of their expenses, but when you look at it, it's a $15,000, $10,000, $15,000 investment for a convention that it's big and it impacts the whole community, but, you know.
I
so
think
it's-
all of those points need to be made when you're planning, you know.
Yeah, and that's
A
what
conference
I-
center, a convention center,
Yeah.
and, you know, go with that, because, I mean, you have a lot of good information. I mean, you
Yeah.
have a lot of good information, Gabriel, everybody,
Yeah.
you know, your business, everybody has, you know, their own story to tell,
Mhm.
and
So, I'm not too sure, what is the true difference between a conference center and a convention center?
The size.
The size.
Just the
yeah.
size of people?
Yeah.
So,
The
a
conference center is more like,
smaller.
a civic center, you know, kind of like our civic center that we have.
See, you need 1,000, 2,000 people that you're expecting for
And then a
something, and you have,
convention.
that's a convention, that's like a major.
Yeah.
You know,
Because the
like a
convention
very
center,
big,
well, it's a multi-purpose,
You know,
where it has,
national that has.
for exhibit hall, it has an exhibit hall, so
It
it
has-
has all
Whatever.
concrete.
I think that that's one of the main differences, that you have an exhibit hall,
Yeah.
where you can accommodate all of these people vendors that come in and exhibit their wares, I mean, and that's what I think meant
Yeah.
the biggest difference.
So like I went to, on a personal side, I went to a conference in Harlingen, and it's connected, it's part of the Hilton, and that's really nice, the size is nice. It doesn't have an exhibit hall, but the size of it and the way it's structured, and the hotel has about 250, close to 300 rooms, or 280. So it's a good size because a conference could get you up to at least 100 to 150
That's
rooms.
right. That's cool.
And they had a few overflow, but we were able to stay there. But for me that I travel, I want to stay there in the convention center.
Sure.
Because it gets expensive getting an Uber or a
To
shuttle.
travel to.
And,
Or whatever.
yeah, and exactly the inconvenience. So,
And having to time yourself, you know, it's gonna take me 5 minutes or 3,
Yeah.
whatever it is,
yeah.
to get from where I'm at to.
But the idea is if they want to build a convention center with an exhibit hall,
Civic center,
that would be good. Because we can
I was
use
just thinking.
for other events as
Right,
well.
yeah.
Yeah.
I said, you know,
We
there
have a
was
lot of
very
events
short
that
time.
we host.
He was saying, and I tend to agree, they shouldn't have, I think that they should not have sold the civic center.
So quickly, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, they would have done it in the
They could've-
future, they could have used it right now to be able to,
because you also have hotels across the street from it too.
Yeah.
and there, it's not so far from the downtown either. I mean, there's, but I don't
And then a
know.
lot of parking too.
Yeah. So, you know, let's see what happens. I think it's a good thing that they're bringing it up.
Yeah.
So,
I understand the having the hotel and all that, but I also travel a lot and I attend a lot of conferences. So I've seen like half and half. And one of the biggest conferences that I have attended in LA, Staples Center, no hotel.
No connection hotel.
There's so many that
In that
don't
area.
have a hotel.
Well, the Staples Center was built a long time ago, and they had already built everything around
Around
it.
it.
So really, I mean,
No,
it's,
but it's, you know, I get the point, but we shouldn't get discouraged by that. That's
no,
my point of view, that we're not, I don't know, I think if it comes to having something, even if it's not with a hotel attached. I have
and the
nothing.
thing is, we have to plan for the future. I mean, yeah, we're a certain population right now, but you have to plan for 10 years.
yeah, 10,
At
15 years.
least 10 years
Yeah.
down the road. You can't plan for now because in a year, I mean, I can
Changes.
remember planning for the Justice Center. We said, oh, you know, that's gonna last, you know, we're gonna have offices for, county offices for 10 years. 3 years, they were packed, we were full.
Wow.
We had to build the administrative building across the street because, I mean, it just doesn't work. And then, you know, you build that and then you have something else. And I mean, the idea, you know, was to consolidate all county offices, you know, to be able to make it easier for the taxpayer. But in this case, you know, it's the different purpose. But I think that, you know, we have to plan for the future for about 10 years down the, you know, how long have the hotels and everything, just think 5 years back.
But if we go with that mentality, then we should look into building farther north, you know, where you can grow more.
The thing is,
Right.
and we all know that the real estate is owned by 5 families, and it's very expensive.
You're right.
We know, it's controlled, and that's the difference
That's-
between Laredo and all the other towns that we're talking about. You cannot, si te vas para allá, están los Kellogg, si te vas para allá, están los Benavides, si te vas para, I mean, it's like, you know, I mean, they're just big landowners.
You're right.
And then you know, the Calvados here, and it's like, I mean, and I'm not saying anything negative, all I'm saying is, as a realtor, I know the cost of land.
Yes.
And it's appreciating, it's going up, I mean,
And the houses are getting smaller.
Yeah.
Land is getting
because, well, you know why? I mean, because if you can build 10 houses in a block, I mean, you restrict it to 4,000 square feet. When before, I mean, they were building 6 and 8,000 square foot lots. Ahora, I mean, they're this little.
Yeah, 45.
I mean, you open your back door and the fence is right
Right
here.
there, yeah,
Hi, the back door, the neighbor's right there, so like.
You can't even go into your bathroom because you can look across the, oh my God, I mean.
And all those ideas I had for the attached to the La Posada, that's pretty much,
Well, I think there's, no, I don't think so.
What?
The convention center, the study that I think they're looking all that.
Oh, they dusted the study and they're bringing it
I
back
mean,
up.
they paid a fortune for all that stuff.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
A lot more to spend.
You know, and I think one of the things, you know, with this, you know, with the referendum, you know, to build or not to build.
I mean, they're gonna make, La Posada make concessions, the city of Laredo make concessions. I mean, everybody was,
Yeah, but I think that the idea that the hotel motel tax was going to increase.
And,
That's a problem.
And that was the problem, and that's why,
And
you
then the
know,
rental.
so
the
many.
rental tax too. Enterprise first.
That's a problem. That was a problem.
how is our sales tax even with other cities?
So
We're pretty high,
We're pretty high.
in my opinion.
we're not the highest.
We're not the highest, but we're,
In the
Houston,
middle,
We're up
Houston
there.
is usually.
But there's a,
Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, all
They're
those
all
big
about the
cities are,
same.
they're about 19-20%
Oh, that's occupancy.
occupancy,
Yeah.
yeah.
but you have,
Yeah.
don't you have a limit? I mean, that you can't go above it?
Well, it goes to the state has to approve it.
I know that there's limits. I mean, you just
Yeah.
can't say, oh, it's, you know, we can go 100%.
But I think they have reasons for increasing the occupancy on whether it's a
Yes.
county or city or state.
Yeah, because
State
the
has
city gets the
state.
majority of
Yeah.
the tax. The county gets 1%.
Yeah, county, the
Yes.
city gets 6%. the
Six.
state,
Seven.
Gets seven.
seven
And,
percent.
and the county gets 1, and what the county does with that 1%, they lower your taxes.
the problem is, tying up taxes for a project that we don't know how the project is gonna work, it's something to very,
That
very,
parallels, that parallels with the arena, because we're paying
Exactly.
1.25 for the sales tax for the arena.
and when you know that.
Is it
that's
safe?
a-
Instead of 8%, we're paying 8.25% for
Yeah,
sales
it's a
tax.
2.5%.
And that 0.25 goes for the arena.
So it's the sports venue
The
tax.
2 by?
And for example, like, when you have our events at the arena, how many,
Maybe that's why
what's the funding that where are they looking at getting the funding from?
That's all gonna be part of the workshop, because I don't know, they're gonna, if they wanna increase the sales tax or the rental tax, which is Hertz, Enterprise, all those, it has to go to the voters. And, so, but it's
All they have to say, it's a tax hike, yeah, they're gonna increase your taxes. Oh, no, they're not.
yeah.
Not mine.
Yeah.
So true.
So that was my report, Madam Chair. I don't know if you have any questions. I know we talked a little bit, a very positive comment on everything.
Yes, very good comments.
I wanna ask something. So
Yes.
Aromat, how is it looking with Aromat? Is still like, it's gonna continue the same?
As of right now, they're gonna continue, they're up to, I think they're gonna be up to
Up to
renewal
yeah, that's what I.
on their contract. But it looks like they're obviously gonna negotiate from the city, like, okay, what is it that, this is the initial thing that we agreed on, this is how we did. Obviously they did see some low attendance, but I think overall they've been doing good. I know they're pushing a lot to do more, Melissa, which represents both the valley and here, is coming more here, getting more involved with the community and make sure that the community knows. So she came to our office and said, hey, any city event that I could go and I could have a booth and I could give out raffle tickets and promote the flight and everything. So we saw that, that's why they did the 5K run. If you guys saw that at the airport. And I think they're gonna continue with that 5K. It was very successful, being the first time. So they're trying to push it, and we're hopefully that, we could continue with this service, because I think it's valuable service, but it's.
Well, some service is better than no service.
Exactly.
I'm gonna tell you that, because, I mean, you feel so isolated.
Yeah.
That it almost forces you to go to San Antonio to take a flight. Or go to Monterrey if you're going to, but I'm afraid to travel that
And
way.
it's a hassle, like reconnecting and.
No, qué bárbaro, I know.
It takes you away.
You're right.
Any other, that you know, Joel, any other airlines that you're on talks with? No? Again, not trying to pursue other.
Yeah, no, I know for a while they were looking at Southwest Airlines, but with everything that's been happening, it's, and I don't know if you guys heard, but the director.
Yes, I heard that, yeah.
To Chicago.
Went to Chicago,
From
yeah.
Laredo to
That's
Chicago.
Yeah.
But
So-
I'm happy for him, but.
This
Yeah.
year was for a little over a year.
But he
It was
did a lot
2 years,
of,
about 2 years.
he did very well,
Yeah.
that's my opinion, I don't know
Yeah.
what you all think, but.
He did, I thought. So.
Yeah, they're gonna go in huge, they're gonna remodel, they're gonna expand, move TSA, they're gonna expand a lot of the stuff, it's gonna look nicer. So that's gonna be about a 2-year project, and I believe they're gonna start in the summer of next year.
We've been getting a lot of federal money from
Yeah.
Henry, bringing money for the airport expansions
Yeah.
and other things,
So we're hoping that we could add, it would be nice if we could add another airline.
Yes, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. So,
Now, last question, Water Olympics,
Mhm.
going back to normal?
going back to
or-
normal. Yeah, going back to normal. The first tournaments are gonna be in December 2nd through the 4th, which is the boys and girls basketball. And then from there, we'll have the girls soccer, which is the first week in January. And then the third week in January, we have the boys soccer, which is, they hadn't had it since 2008, so they brought back the boys soccer. And then followed by the baseball, the softball, the tennis, the track and field, so.
This last one, does anybody know the WBCA dates? Are they gonna end before the 24th?
The dates, I believe,
They're going
It's
on.
already on the website.
on the website. I think their main dates are I think if I'm not mistaken, is the 20th and 21st.
Okay.
Because I can tell you, because February 19, 20, 21st, that's, I think, their biggest weekend. Because we have the baseball and the softball, and we already heard, that a lot of them are, a lot of hotels already sold out for this
That's
weekend.
what, that's gonna be my next comment about
Yeah.
this, is that they have a lot of demand, so imagine with all these people looking for rooms, is gonna be interesting thing.
Yeah, so, yeah, we
It's a good
already,
thing with the hotels,
It's a
of
good thing.
course, I mean, business is always,
It is a good thing, but I remember in previous years where CBB is calling everywhere,
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
find rooms and.
Yeah.
even went to Cotula, I guess, you know, it's a lot of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's happened.
Mhm.
yeah.
They have a lot of,
It
A
looks
lot
like
of
it'll
hotels
pick up
over there.
January 20th.
20, yeah.
what's that?
The
The
WBC.
kickoff will be January 20th, and it will go until, because I think this year, the air show is going to be until the final weekend, the final event, and that is going to be February 27th.
It's very close to the parade, right?
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
The air show is very close to the parade.
And that one.
The
is-
air show
That's the one
is,
that
let's
brings
see,
the most-
the air show will be February 27th, and then the
But
parade
most of the things already.
will be February 19th.
Most of the things already.
Also, it's a big week, almost a whole 10 days before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Any
No,
other
that's okay.
questions that we have? Moving on to the services coordinators report, Veronica, which is on page 12.
Madam Chair, is it okay if I request to move my report up, only because I have another event to go to?
Of course.
Just FYI, the Heritage Foundation.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna be there,
they're
have
heading-
one, yeah.
Yes, for the Botas and Guaraches outdoor exhibit today. So,
That is the most interesting event that happened in Laredo so many years ago, and people don't even know about it.
mhm.
And it was politically,
Yeah,
it's,
the political parties.
they were political parties.
Mhm. Yeah.
Pero estuvieron piques y piques to
Well,
the
it's
point
like
that
the
they
Guaraches
exploded,
event.
and then about 30 people were killed,
Yeah.
you know?
They're in the plaza.
Mhm.
yeah, so if I can just do my report right now before I step out? Okay, my report is on page 13. And I'll go ahead and, talk about the South Texas Amateur Boxing Association that came to Laredo. And that was on the 16th and 17th of October. There were teams there were, boxers that came in from Corpus, McAllen, Laredo, Rio Grande Valley. And they competed on over 2 days at the Baskin Center. Bouts were about 2 minutes each, 3 rounds. These kids just played their heart out, and you can see that passion that's there. And going into the sports realm as well, I attended the Sports ETA Symposium in Birmingham last week, Monday through Friday. I met with several vendors and spoke about up-and-coming sports coming to Laredo. The big draw that everybody was interested about was the sports complex that's coming in 2023. I told Joel that I was very surprised. As soon as I sat down, I felt that, the contacts had more information than I did. Because they let me in knowing that the complex that's being built here in Laredo is the only complex of its size being built in the state of Texas. So they're like, either you all are late to the game or y'all are just adding to your inventory. And I'm like, well, this is just a project that has been talked about for a while now, and it's the perfect time to start building it and bringing it in. So there's lots of interest in regards to management, trying to see who's going to manage it, what suppliers that they're using, whether for scoreboards or for turf, for building. I'm gonna go ahead and pass on several contacts to Foel and to the Parks and Rec director, so they can get that coming. But even other CBBs, they're like, we see you guys, we see Laredo, because you have your name tag on, and they're like, Laredo, they're like, tell me about the complex, tell me what's happening, like, when are y'all gonna start?
There's really not a lot of information on the, at least not public, like, that in the media, that they talk about, the specifics. A lot of people don't know about the local.
Mhm. Yeah, they presented to council, and then they just got the ones that are gonna bid the RFP for the construction for the actual project. So they were supposed to go to city council. I don't know if it's for this council or for the next one, but they're already gonna go to council to see who was the vendor that was gonna get award the project. Because we already have a tournament scheduled for the first week of August. So that's trying to work on getting everything ready, and by that time, I'm not sure, I don't think it's gonna be 100% ready. Probably think that the fields are probably gonna be ready, but parking and restaurants might not, like restrooms and all that stuff, so it's gonna be working around that, but I know they were kind of in a schedule because of the tournament that was coming up. So I think once it's open, we're gonna see more tournaments there, so it's gonna be a good thing for the city.
If we're gonna vote, I need to also be going to that, Huaraches and the Botas.
Yeah.
Huh?
No,
I'm a
I
board member, I gotta go. Dear
But
God.
you're right, you're right.
So,
yeah.
is there anything,
No, just our next meeting's on December the 2nd.
December the 2nd is our next meeting.
Okay.
We're good, we're good.
Yeah.
So,
So moving on to our services coordinator
Yeah.
report.
She's in page 12.
12.
Did mention, one of the things that she worked a lot was the Dia de los Muertos celebration. She partnered with the Center for the Arts, and there's a lot of organizations that go into it, and I know Raymond was a vendor there, and I think it was a really good event overall, it was well attended. And so she had a lot of the coordination working with parks, with PD and with the city, getting the closures, the street closures and all that area, so I was really involved, but I think overall, the event was really good. I'm not sure if you have any questions regarding her
I'd
report.
just like to make maybe those suggestions that I mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
maybe a walkthrough,
Yeah,
make sure all the lights are on, and I know there's not much we can do with the homeless people that tend to sleep there, but maybe wash the night before the area.
yeah,
That, or maybe provide more lights, maybe trim some of the greenery around the trees.
yeah, I'll definitely make,
And check all the lights,
yeah,
go on with the light switch.
yeah. Yeah, we'll check that with the center and then with the city of parks, make sure that they do that.
Yeah, because the guy who's in charge, or at least at the front, he turned on the lights and it came up. I turned them on, but they just don't turn on, and then we check, most of the bulbs were missing or broken. Or just the little screw part was in there.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely.
And I imagine they do that because they want to be able to sleep there, and they want the light flashing on their face.
Yeah, yeah,
So, other than that, I think it was very successful. We had a lot of people. It was really nice, very well organized. Just can just feel the enthusiasm in the place.
yeah.
It's real nice. I love that Sunday arts.
Yeah.
This is Monday, this coming Monday,
Yes,
the Nuevo León signing
yes,
agreement?
that's gonna be on Monday at 9:30 at Columbia
At the
Bridge.
Columbia Bridge.
Yes. So we actually having a walkthrough this afternoon to do the final, because they're gonna sign, and then they're gonna receive a donation of a fire truck.
Okay, that's the agreement. that we're
Yes.
signing.
Yeah, and so the new governor is coming in, and so it's a big thing for us. And so yeah, and they're gonna actually have the office here.
Great.
Yeah, so we're gonna have one of our office spaces gonna be allocated for the office of the governor's office from Nuevo León, state of Nuevo León. So we'll have one of our vacant offices will be for somebody there, so that I have somebody here. And so it's gonna be really interesting, the partnership that we have.
By somebody, what do you mean?
So they're gonna hire, they're gonna have somebody either with, I don't know, dual citizenship or if it's from Mexico, but working here and representing the office, the governor's office, but here in Laredo. So any issues, any matters, any projects that has to do with Laredo in the state of Nuevo León,
They'll have.
they'll have a representative that will handle those matters with council.
So is this the equivalent of what we have in Monterrey?
No, kind of like what we have in Nuevo Laredo. The problem with Nuevo Laredo is sometimes they're here and sometimes they're not. So Nuevo Laredo has an office here as well. But with the new administration, they're still figuring it out, because what happens is when there's an administration, they change. But this is no Laredo, this is the state of Nuevo León. So it's bigger, yeah. So, yeah. And I know that they're looking into remodeling and fixing up the main highway, the connection. So I know they have a lot of projects, the state of Nuevo León. And because they value the connection between Laredo and Nuevo León, and the importance of the trade, and the fastest connection between Laredo to go from Monterrey going to anywhere because it's still way in Monterrey. So yeah, so we're really excited for that partnership.
So Sunday, you're gonna be also.
Sunday we'll do, yes, yeah. So Sunday we're gonna have a dinner. Originally we were gonna have the ribbon cuttings, but they moved everything for Monday. So we're gonna do the event, the signing of the agreement at the bridge, and the receiving the donation of the fire truck. And then after that, they'll come here and they'll do the ribbon cutting here in the office.
So Monday, everything.
Yes. Yeah, Monday it's at 12:30, I believe.
And the dates changed after Veronica did her.
Yeah,
I'm looking
yeah,
at the
this
dates,
just
that's
changed.
why.
Yeah,
Oh, they just changed.
they just
everything.
changed, yeah, we had a walkthrough at 2 scheduled today, and then I got notice from the state of Nuevo León and the Mexican government that they can't make it at 2, they have to make it at 3 p.m., so I had to, so we just got notifications of this like literally yesterday. So as we go along with working with the government, Mexican government, sometimes it's a really hard thing.
Is that gonna be tied in with the bridge opening, or?
I think that's probably what they're doing too.
Yeah.
I think
Because when's the official date?
the Monday.
The Monday following.
Yeah, but
The
they're
day
doing
the
actually,
bridge opens?
they're doing a whole tour of state, like the governor is doing a whole tour of the state of Nuevo León. And obviously Laredo has a little piece of land, not as big, but they're doing the ribbon for their office here, receiving of the truck, and obviously it's, like you said, the opening of the bridges, it just makes sense. And for us, we're already pushing it like crazy, we already want for people to come in and come shopping, and, because it's gonna benefit everybody in the community. I know downtown it's been hurt a lot, so.
I know, it's very sad, a lot of
Yeah.
places are closed.
I they're just telling me that the ones that they will not accept, the shots, Sputnik
Sputnik, that's a Russian one,
and Casino.
but yeah, that's
That
probably
is
Chinese.
the Chinese, right? Those are not,
Mhm.
and a lot of them have those.
Yeah.
I wonder what the reason is, they just weren't as effective, or?
Well, I think it's all political too. Yeah. So, but, yeah, but a lot of people I could see that took advantage of the Mexican Airlines, the Aeromar, and they were here. Even some of the influencers that were here last week, was there, which one is the one shot? Johnson & Johnson. And they got it right there, like 3 of them. They got the Johnson & Johnson, they got their card, and they're gonna be able to fly into the US with no problems.
Just wondering with the sister city, the vendors, what kind of,
Most of them, they all have the vaccines, and all of them are, I think, originally, they're all flying in. So they're not driving, they're gonna fly into Laredo.
That's gonna change, for the ones flying now in the.
oh, you need,
Oh, yeah.
to fly, they don't need the vaccine?
No,
They
not
do.
before.
Not before,
Before, no. Now
but
they.
starting November 8th, yes. But all those already had the vaccine. So that's why all the people that we have registered right now for the holiday market,
What would the difference have been if you crossed, you had no vaccine, you walked across or flew across?
because they don't allow it, because it's not non-essential
Makes
travel.
no sense.
Yeah, it's weird, like you could come as a visitor, flying, but not in the bridge. You couldn't walk, or you couldn't drive to the bridge as a visitor. It had to be because you're working, or you're a citizen, a resident, or have a working visa.
Wow.
But now, November 8th, it's gonna be open to anybody.
But you have to have the vaccine requirements
Your
are
card,
those for.
Yeah. What I don't know if they're gonna require the negative test, because I know flying in, they do require 72 hours.
Like, can you imagine the lines at the bridge,
Mhm.
that little extra minute?
Yeah, 'cause
3 seconds?
you need to make sure, and that's why they were looking into, they did a passport online where you show an app and it shows your vaccine card, and they said you cannot ask that. I know the state, at least the governor here in Texas has been against all that.
To have your passport on a net?
Yep,
Wow, I thought that would be a lot quicker.
Yeah, no, well, the vaccine, the passport, yes, but not the vaccine.
And
Because that's medical
now in the
records.
bridge, you show your documents 2 times.
Yeah.
One's at mid-bridge and then the other one.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to a meeting and yeah, I didn't know that, but yeah, the guy,
Yes.
there's like, in the middle of the bridge, they have customs and you need to show your IDs or your passports, anything. And now they turn you right back, and then you still go over there, you still have to present it
Just 2 times.
2 times. Yeah. That's gonna be interesting, but we're excited. I don't think people could care less if they wait there an hour or 2.
I know.
I think as long as they come for shopping.
They just want.
That's something about it, because what they're doing right now is 3 lines,
Mhm.
and they're making it
One.
one, so they can go into so that's gonna get
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Moving on, if we have no other questions, to the Monterrey office, from web, which is on page 17. I mean,
Yeah, 17, and they have all the way to 18. They've been very active with the Facebook Live campaign. They've been really good. I know right now they're, Selena and someone are helping us with both the press conference we're doing in Mexico City and Monterrey. So we'll be traveling. I'll be traveling to one, so you and I are going to one in Monterrey. Aggie and Ben are going to one in Mexico City. But now that the bridges are opening, we're going to be doing a big push. So they've been very busy with that, helping us with that. There's some signing agreements that they're going to be doing as well in Michoacan, Urapa. And so, yeah, they've been very busy this month. So I think now it's going to start picking up more of the activities and everything, so we're really excited. And they've been getting very creative with the Facebook Live, and I think that's helped reach out to a good audience and just, showing what Laredo has to offer and the different amenities and everything. So that's basically it, Madam Chair. Page 7 in the report. I'm not sure if you guys have any other questions.
thank you all for your very hard work. I know everybody at the CDD works very hard, and we appreciate y'all taking the time to tell us everything that's going on, and we try to contribute as much as we can to help out as well.
Thank you.
Do we have any discussions or announcements that we need to bring to our meeting today?
I always do.
Okay.
I just wanted to let everyone know, and I wanted to see, but I don't know that if you all are open to, maybe at the beginning of your public discussion next time for the next meeting, to just ask our new chamber president, Gabby Morales, to come and just introduce herself. And I think she might be doing it on, taking the initiative, and she's already going
We already
to.
met with her.
Okay.
Yeah, she came to our office and we met.
Okay, I was
with her
gonna say she's
and-
probably, because she's been going from place to place.
Yeah, she's been
Okay.
crazy like
Yeah.
She's actually, I think, she's looking into joining us for either both press conferences or at least one.
Okay, good.
So we kind of sat down with them, with Miriam, with her, and we went over a lot of the stuff that we are doing.
Right.
And so they want to really, she's all about partnering with us and working and how we can promote more. And they have a good campaign that they're bringing up, which we loved it. They're working on getting coupons and then pushing it there at the Puente at bridge number 2, giving out on bridge 1. So we already work, so it's really interesting the projects that they have going on. She's really open and has great ideas, so we had a good conversation with her and Miriam.
Good, okay.
Yeah.
Who is she? The new
Gabriela Morales. And she was in Washington for about 12 years, I think.
Yeah.
And then she used to work here in Laredo too.
Yeah.
And we hired her at the end of August. Out of 200 candidates, she really did stand out. We had a lot of people apply, but we had to narrow it down and filter it down and she was really very qualified, and she brings a lot of knowledge of government more than anything, which is what we needed. And then she's got a good background also on data analytics. She gave a very impressive presentation to us on how she collects data on everything. She had data on Laredo that I had never seen.
So she was hired by IBC, she works for IBC, no?
Chamber of Commerce.
Oh,
Chamber of Commerce.
okay.
We're the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Chamber of Commerce.
IBC.
No, I wish.
Ah.
I would,
Oh, the Chamber.
but no, she works for Chamber of Commerce, or Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
So be there.
Which is you were in the hiring committee, right?
Yeah.
That's what, you were part of the hiring committee.
Yes.
That's why
Okay.
it says we.
Yes, that's why. Yeah.
IBC had something.
And then Mike Morosco from McDonald's is coming in. He's already in as the new chair of the board. So he's also got some ideas that he's working with, just, FYI, because I know that, I think it's very important that, and that's one of the things that we talked about in our strategic planning meeting, is to work in more unison with other organizations, especially CBB.
Yeah, no, sure.
And he wanted to revitalize actually the Hotel Motel Association.
Yeah, she
Because
brought up that. And we
that was very
mentioned it.
strong at one time, and it was very good because they really did push.
Yeah, but
It
it's been
motivates other
years.
people. When you've got a group like that pushing something, it also motivates us, the chamber, other people to move, to do more. You put a little fire under everyone when you've got a group,
Right.
advocating for it. So he was looking at that. He already started the Restaurant Association also committee within that. So hopefully those things will help us, the economy as a whole.
Yeah. 10 years ago, like 10 years ago, didn't you used to have somebody from the Chamber of Commerce that would come to the meetings, like a rep?
They're invited. We've never had them as
It's an
like as a
open-
Because it was
member.
your old district communications that were both involved in the
Yeah.
city, and,
We used to have
I mean, I know you don't promote
members.
tourism, but
Yeah.
you promote business within the Laredo, so it'd be good so we could
Yeah,
always be on
but
the
I
same
think They
page.
did away with all that.
Yes, Mr. Committe, the CVB was made up of ex officio members, and we had a Chamber of Commerce representative.
Mhm.
But since then, City Council changed the ordinance and the makeup of the committee, and we were no longer required to have the ex
Okay.
officio, which had the Hotel Motel Association rep, the
That's right,
Restaurant
that's right.
Association rep, the Chamber of Commerce rep, and others.
I guess we can invite them as guests, just so we coordinate, be on the same page.
Yeah.
Well, we have
And they can give us
previous
some insight.
presentations that are part of the
Yeah.
executive committee and also
Sure.
board members, so we can definitely share,
Yeah, well, I think it's important,
both ways, right?
Yeah, because
wearing
we can,
different hats.
we can get some input for, we might not be aware of.
And the good thing, Gabby used to work with us, so she understands. And she still has some of the stuff like, hey, you got it? No, Gabby already changed. Since you've been,
You're also
since you're,
with the
since you.
chamber?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, well, he's part of the executive committee, I'm just a board member,
Ah,
like,
okay.
Mhm.
So pretty much you know what's going on, and you
Yeah.
can just share it with us, right?
yeah. Right now, yes, that company that you mentioned,
Mhm.
yeah, we're actually starting our homework today,
Yeah,
reaching out to all businesses and
yeah.
everything.
That's really interesting,
Very-
that's great.
It's a nice campaign,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think anybody that you see $5 off, $10 off, or certain coupon.
If you
buy
want to
this, you
register,
get this.
let me know, I can send you the information.
Okay.
You don't have to do anything, just sign up and offer a discount and we can sign you off. I can send you the link and YouTube, Melissa. Yes, it is very interesting.
Yeah, it could be like the restaurants.
Yes,
you know,
restaurants, hotels, businesses, retail,
Yeah,
anything,
retail,
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wow, it's really cool, and I think the perfect timing with the holidays,
Yeah,
with people, and
I can send you the
And
information.
we told Gabby and Miriam, like, if you open it up for everyone, even locals,
Yeah.
it's an economic boom because it's a, I see a coupon, and I was gonna go there, like, so, I think they were working on all that, but I think right now, everybody, with everything that's happening, everybody wants to save, $5, $10, whatever you can save, so.
Everything has gone.
And the only other thing I was gonna bring up is I heard that the farmer's market turned out to be very successful at the outlet shops. And I think they're going to continue it there.
Yes.
Because it was a success, so I think that's a very good thing for, I guess, for the outlet shops, and then of course for all of us. I don't know how much you all have to do with that or promote that, or,
I'm also a member of the chamber.
Yeah, so our holiday market is in conjunction with the farmer's market and the consulate's office, and I have another event there as well.
the same day,
Okay.
On the same days, on the same weekend.
on the
So,
same weekend.
Yeah, so, we just had a press conference on that. It was yesterday, the week before yesterday. Tuesday, yeah.
And so then you're only limiting that to the, right, you're not asking, because I know I didn't get anything, you're not asking for booths for anybody, right, sponsorship or anything like that?
Yeah, right now it's
Okay,
just the,
okay.
the vendors itself.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
We'll be seeking sponsorships for summer.
Summer, yes, we'll talk to you for summer.
Checking your email.
Yeah, that's 2 days of sitting there, 3 days actually.
3 days, yeah.
Yeah.
3 days for you guys, us the whole week, it's like, oh my God, I probably walk over 50,000 steps or more that week.
I noticed you were thinner after that.
More white hair,
At least you have hair.
I know, right? Thank you, Jesus, for that.
You can always dye it.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him when I walked in because the last time, because I missed you.
Yeah.
The first time because my daughter was getting married, and then the second time because my battery was dead in the morning, I couldn't turn it on, and I had just been moving, I just moved to another home. So it's been crazy, but I remember you with a long beard. I
Yeah.
said, is it the same?
And I trimmed it small, yeah. Thought I was shaving
He
everything.
trimmed it when they call him Santa.
So,
I couldn't
I'll
remember
shave in
it.
November, no?
Yeah, but I did the opposite, I did it under spring.
Right?
So our next meeting is on December the 2nd. And do we have a motion to adjourn our meeting?
That motion.
Meeting
Oh,
adjourned.
I forgot to,
Thank
are we
you
all
for
gonna
coming.
continue at 8:30? Because the first time I came,